Oh, welcome to the Sharpe Show. So wonderful to have you with me this evening, a little bit past 7 p.m. on the East Coast. I mean, a little bit late, but not too bad. A lot of stuff was happening today. I was thinking about what should I do? How should I react to this stuff? And I was going to grab some more stuff that people sent me, but then I said, no, I want to touch a part that is, I think more and more people are starting to become concerned. I know I am. And this is Trump taking more and more specific control over things that traditionally presidents didn't take so much of a detailed control. Not just that. It seems like, I feel like he's actually getting involved in things that sometimes matter tremendously, a lot, and sometimes don't matter much at all, but jumping on them like they all matter, like the world's ending. It almost seems like he's doing more and more of this almost as a distraction, as in, let me start talking about this thing and that thing, because the thing I've promised in the past haven't happened. The things that I said were going to happen haven't happened. This is a massive gamble. And I've been saying this for the past 2 months, maybe, that Trump is really rolling the dice on a lot of stuff here. These are big political gambles. He is not going to be known. His legacy is not going to be a mediocre legacy. He's not going to be forgotten. That I can guarantee you. He will either be, if everything he wants comes to pass, if he's really playing the 6D chess or whatever, don't look like it to me, but okay, maybe he is. If he's playing the 6D chess and we're all not getting it, and he's got the super duper plan, okay, he is going to be looked upon as like a transitional president to the greatness of America, blah, blah, blah. It's all going to work. If not, oh my God. Now, here is my problem with all of this. And maybe a good thing. It could be a good thing, but it's a problem. It's my Doge problem. What is that? I really had some hopes for Doge. Don't get me wrong. I did not believe he was going to do $2 trillion. I said it up there when he was like, I'm going to do $2 trillion in cuts. I was like, if you get $500 billion, I'll go out and I'll buy a Tesla. Like, that's how much I would have been happy if he actually would have even done that. I had a lot of hope that he'd do something. I thought he would cut something. I hoped he would cut something. Doge, sadly, is the opposite of Milei. Milei in Argentina has shown that libertarianism can work. Doge made Americans think it can't. Trump is absolutely supposed to be the rebel, the guy who's fighting. Obama was supposed to be that. Clearly not. Was that like 20 years ago? He wasn't. And now it looks like Trump won't be either. The worry about that is this might be a spot to where people start to say nothing can be done. If Obama couldn't do it, he was supposed to be Mr. Rebel, Mr. Cool Guy. Trump can't do it. He's like anti-Obama. He's supposed to do it, and he can't do it either. If neither of them can do it, it can't be done. They make a lie. Why is that so bad? Because then what's the alternative? I think we know what the alternative is. The thing I've been trying to stop and make sure it doesn't happen. That is my worry. It was the reason why I was so happy RFK Jr. was running. It was the reason why I was so happy he got in. He's making changes. I know some of you don't like his changes, but he's making changes. He is making changes. And people say, hey, wait, maybe my guy can make change then. That's good. I feel like Trump and Elon, both of them, they had an opportunity there. Obviously, Elon threw his away, or Trump threw his away. Whatever happened, that's gone, right? Is Trump's over? I hope not. But it's not looking good, is what I'll say. It's not looking good. That is what I will say. I'm going to grab a couple concepts and things that bother me. Firing Fed employees. You might go, Larry, wait a minute. You hate the Fed. I do. Firing Fed employees is not helpful at all. It does nothing. It does nothing. You want to start cutting the Fed? You want to start auditing the Fed? You want to start ending the Fed? Yes, yes, and yes to any of those. I will take any of those. Yes. I want to fire the Fed because it doesn't do what I want it to do. Garbage means nothing. Silly, stupid. It's nothing. Means nothing. If you're actually looking to cut, audit, end the Fed, I'm smiling. All good. I want to fire someone that I don't like. Garbage means nothing. Unhappy about that already. The crime in the cities. Look, if he wants to become the police chief of DC, he can. The world's not going to end. Don't really like it, but whatever. Fine. Be the police chief of DC. I don't care. Fix it. Whatever. Good. I hope the DC people want it. I hope they do. Good for them. He wants to be a police chief of New York, Chicago, whatever, Boston. Dude, stop. Just stop. If the governors can't do it, then they're screwed. Let the people leave. They are leaving. Let them leave. People are leaving California. People are leaving New York. Why? Because the states suck. I know. I'm trying to fix it. Yes, but I don't need the president coming in, putting troops on the ground. I don't need that. If the states want help, then send help because the states want help. They don't want help, let them suffer. I know. I'm in New York. I'm suffering. So I'm not sitting here pointing my finger at someone saying, you guys suffer. I'm saying me. It's my job to fix this freaking state, and I'm trying. But no, I'm not about this. He's wrong. DC, go ahead. Go ahead. He's randomly throwing tariffs on countries like India because he's mad at India, but then kissing China's butt. Look, maybe I'm wrong, and maybe 6 months from now, the crime will all go away, and China will bend the knee, and India will bend the knee. Look, to be forward, I hope my worries are silly. I do. I hope, and I don't mean that flippantly. I mean that honestly. I've said before, I wanted Biden to succeed. That clearly didn't work. I wanted Trump to succeed. I still want him to succeed. I want the country to succeed. So I hope I'm wrong on all these things, and I hope Trump proves me wrong. And 6 months from now, I'm going, look at that. Trump was awesome. I hope that happens. It is not looking that way because now he's worried about burning flags. Why would you step into an executive order on burning flags? First off, why do you care? Second off, it's obviously protected speech as long as you are burning your own flag. There's the key. As long as you are burning your own flag. Right? As long as you're burning your own flag. I go burn someone else's flag, that's a crime. I burn my own flag, what the hell do you care? And as long as it's not, like I'm not in the middle of a theater or something where I'm like, people could die or something, right? I want to go on my front lawn or whatever and burn the flag because I hate America or whatever. No, not the right answer. Leave them alone. All of this feels like distraction. Now, what if it's not? Again, what if I'm wrong? What if I'm wrong? And this is some savvy thing. I can't see it. Now, look, let me give you. Let me try to give Trump the benefit of the doubt if I can. He has been very savvy on picking up small pieces of the electorate and bringing them together for single issue voters, that people who care about single issues. He's been very good at that. That's one of his skill sets as a politician. And if you don't like Trump, you may be mad about that. Still true. He absolutely is able to grab and say, aha, that's a little, that guy, let's get these people. And before you know it, he's got a coalition. RFK Jr., perfect example of that. Tulsi Gabbard, great example of that. Elon Musk, Tech Bros, perfect example of that. He's very good at that. Is he just picking these up? And then the Republicans win big in 2026? I mean, maybe. And then I'd be wrong. Right? And again, I hope I'm wrong and he does well and everyone's happy. That'd be amazing, right? Now he was talking about revoking the licenses of MSM, of NBC and ABC. Look, I hate them too. But why are we talking about this? Why are we talking about this? It drives me nuts. And I think the worst of them all is making a deal with Intel So the government owns 10% of Intel. Didn't he just spend weeks yelling about the guy running here in New York City, Mamdani, and his government-run stores? But government-run chips, that's fine. I know the argument. Larry, understand, national defense, whatever. Horse shit, horse shit, horse shit. That's the excuse for everything. I want to destroy your rights. Why? National security. I want to bomb people. Why? National security. I want to throw the Constitution in the garbage. Why? National security. Horse shit, garbage. Garbage. It is not about national security at all. If it is, then the government should run it, right? If it's true, if they're all going to die, if we don't make the chips or whatever, if that's true, government should run it, right? Whenever it's a right or critical, you make the government just do it, right? The government just says, I'm going to run all education. I'm going to run, and by the way, not the Constitution, but I'm going to run education. I'm going to run all these things. So then run all of it then. Why are you buying 10%? And here's the worst part. Trump did not say, well, we need 10% because the world's going to end and I've got to stop the world from ending. So I need to make these chips. He didn't say that. He said, it's a great deal. America's going to make money. And then I might do it again for other stuff. What? So the government's going to buy a bunch of stuff? Is that what Javier Milei taught us? No, the opposite is what he taught us. This guy's Mamdani Jr. Trump's becoming Mamdani Jr. and mad at Mamdani. Why? Because Mamdani outdoes him. I don't understand this. This is a terrible idea. Terrible idea. And he's on board. I don't know. This goes back to what I'm going to pull a piece out if I could. It's a massive gamble. And the reason why I'm not 100% screaming about, I'm kind of screaming, but I'm not 100% yet, is because in the past, I'm looking at what is in the past. In the past, Trump has done some crazy shit and it's come back to help him. Does he know something? Does he understand American people better than I do? Maybe. He's president, so maybe he knows them better than I do. I think it's possible. I don't know. I don't think so. It does not look good at all. I want to pull a piece. This is from The Hills Rising. And I don't usually jump on board with Robbie as much. But this one, Robbie's on the money. I'm just going to give him. Robbie's on the money on this one. There's no doubt he is. I'm going to show you this one here if I could. This is Robbie talking about it with another guy, of course, who obviously hates Trump. So that's a little bit easier there.
The Trump administration says it reached a deal to acquire a 10% stake in the chip-making company Intel. The stake is worth about $9 billion, which appears to be related to the $10.9 billion in grants the 2022 CHIPS and Science Act awarded.
So to be clear, Biden said, hey, I would like to give $10 billion to a chip company. Okay, that's Democrats. Republicans said, hold my beer. We're going to take 10% control. What? That's what happened. That's what happened.
To the company.
Commerce Secretary Howard Lutnick wrote on X, this historic agreement strengthens U.S. leadership in semiconductors, which will both grow our economy and help secure America's technological edge. Thanks to Intel CEO for striking a deal that's fair to Intel and also fair to the American people.
Now, if you're going to tell me, hey, American people, so we're going to take a 10% stake in Intel, and every American citizen who pays taxes, whoever you, if you pay taxes, period, if you pay taxes, you're going to get a cut. Oh, maybe. Okay, maybe now we're actually owning it. Right now, if like Alaska gets a cut, right? If you live in Alaska, you get a cut from the oil, right? Every year, like $1,000, whatever the amount is, you get a check every year. If you live in Alaska, some of you might not know that they have their own sovereign fund, and you create the check, they give you a check, right? He's talking about this. Now, to be forward, am I against the sovereign fund? I'm not. I think a sovereign funds are what I talk about sovereign funds all the time. I love the idea of a sovereign fund. I want to make one for New York State. I love it. Singapore has it. Russia has one. Norway has one. Saudi Arabia has one. Lots of countries have sovereign funds. Not against it. Be way better than having debt that we owe the goddamn Fed. I'm okay with that idea. But here's the big difference. for a sovereign fund to work well, as in we see with like Norway and Singapore, they are separate companies run with separate, not run by the government, run as a separate company tied to the government, but separate. The government can't just come in and take it. The money doesn't go direct to the government at all. The company makes its own money, and the company then, of course, pays X through deals made with the government, what it pays for, what it doesn't pay for. That's how it has to work. That's the only way it can work. This idea, and they've said it, this idea of we'll just buy more stuff and kind of create a sovereign fund. Do you think for 1 second that whatever 10% comes out of Intel, whatever that is going to somehow like pay down our debt or something? No. It's just going to go like, I don't know, bombing Ukraine or something, whatever. It's going to go there. It's another thing that goes to the general fund. It's another way of spending more money that should be going back into the actual economy, now going to the government. This is a terrible idea. This is a terrible idea. Kim says it right. Sovereign fund should be the Federal Reserve System, period. Yes. Yes. Accurate statement. Yes. Then it's okay. Yes.
Intel says the Trump administration will be paying for their $8.9 billion investment with CHIPS Act grant money.
Okay, so does that mean then, to be clear, that happens every time someone gets a grant, the U.S. government gets a cut? Is that the answer? Or just these guys? Just these guys. What about all the farmers we give money to? Do we get a cut of their farms? No. What about Social Security? Do we get a cut of their houses? I don't know. What do we get? We get nothing. So this grant, all the rest of the money we give out, how about when we give out $4 billion to Israel? We get a cut of that? No. How about the money we give to Ukraine? We get a cut of that? No. We're going to cut of that. How about all that money we give out to all these other countries? Do we get a cut? No. Just this one we get a cut. This is utter garbage. And here's the bigger issue. This is the bigger issue. We, as Americans, are more and more accepting of authoritarian shit like this. This is just Trump deciding stuff. Now, you might go, but it's Trump or whatever. No. I'm not mad because it's Trump. A lot of people on the left are mad because it's Trump. That's true. I'm not. I'm mad because it's authoritarian. And you know, if Biden was saying this shit, I'd be saying the same thing. Because I did. This is not the right answer. The problem we have is we are so broken as a country. We are so upset by our system that we're like, I don't care, just do it. Just do it. Just do it. Just do it.
Administration will not have any board representation or other governance or information rights.
Now, what happens when they decide to? What happens when President whomever comes in, President Mamdani comes in, right? We can't, whatever, who knows, they'll change rules, whatever. When President Mamdani shows up and he says, oh, well, since we have 10%, I'm going to buy another 10%. Why? Because I say so. I would have 20%, and now I want 20% of the board. Not just that, because in the government, the other board members who are probably in other industries, I am going to take a piece of their company so I control them too. So now the government will basically control Intel. Because why not? Now, this is not what supposed modern-day socialists say. Supposedly modern-day socialists say the idea of socialism today is not like Mao. No. It's not like Stalin. No. Today's socialism, they tell me, is, well, we want the workers to own the means of production. So we want things like worker co-ops and such. And I'm like, that sounds great. This isn't that. What Mamdani is saying is not that. Nothing Mamdani said is that. Nothing. Nothing Trump is saying is that. None of them are saying that. Republicans don't say it. Democrats, all they say is we're going to control shit. That's literally the Stalin model. That's literally the Mao model. They are following the Mao and Stalin model and saying they're not. The right says they're not. This is security to bomb Iran or whatever. And the left goes, no, this is giving the power to the people or whatever. No, it's not. No. If you were to say Intel is going to be owned by the people, and every year we make our sovereign fund and we all get a cut. This is what Yang actually said. Yang was, so was Elon. If you remember, Yang was talking about the divot, whatever, the Was it social media dividend? Is that what it was? Sorry, freedom dividend, right? Was that what it's calling it? Yeah, it was the freedom dividend, and then Elon had the Doge dividend or whatever it was, right? So they were talking about actually giving money back to the people having that. That was the goal. Okay, I get it, but no.
Intel CEO Lip Bhutan said in a statement, quote, "We are grateful for the confidence the president and the administration have placed in Intel, and we look forward to working to advance U.S. technology and manufacturing leadership."
Many libertarians and conservatives in particular, however, were not very fond of
not conservatives, but libertarians, yeah.
this move. Senator Rand Paul wrote on X, "If socialism is government owning the means of production, wouldn't the government owning part of Intel be a step toward socialism? This is
yes, Rand Paul, yes,
a terrible idea." Former House Freedom Caucus Chair Bob Good also chimed in, writing, "How about just cancel the Intel subsidies instead of government owning a stake in a private business and unfairly competing against other businesses?"
Isn't that what he literally said about Mamdani stores? How are you going to attack Mamdani and say this is okay? You know how? Your name is Trump, and you do what you think's appropriate. And I don't.
However, see it as a good thing. Cenk Uygur of the Young Turks wrote on X,
"Of course he did.
Old school conservatives are saying Trump's plan to take a 10% stake in Intel for American taxpayers in exchange for our financial help is socialism. Truth is exact opposite. In capitalism, if you invest in the company, you get equity. This is one of the best things Trump is doing."
I have no idea what Cenk is saying here. I thought Cenk was a socialist. I guess he's not. Now I guess he's a cap. I don't know what Cenk is. Anyway, so if Cenk Uygur and Trump are agreeing on something,
did not see that coming.
I like Cenk Uygur, but this is a bad take. Not only do I disagree with this might be the single thing Trump has done so far that I hate the most. It's
so funny.
Awful.
I knew I was hosting with you today, and when I saw it over the weekend, I was like, well, Robbie's not going to like that.
Yo, he's loving it because he wants to be up on Trump, and he knew that this would. Yes, libertarians are going to beat up Trump on this. Yes, correct. This you have to be a rocket science to figure that one out. Yes, of course, libertarians are going to beat Trump up on this one. Of course they are. This is utterly and totally anti-libertarian. Of course it is. And look, a lot of libertarians, not me, but many of them did just fall behind the Trump train. I get it. I didn't like it, but I got it. Right? I get it. You think he's the lesser of two evils, whatever. I get it. I understand. But even they're not on this one. Even the libertarians who back Trump aren't on this one. No, they're not. Robbie was basically that. And he's even not here. This, for many libertarians, is just a bridge too far.
No, it is exactly as Rand Paul said. This is the textbook definition of socialism. And it creates, and it said that we don't need to use socialism as a scare word all the time, but the incentives it creates are just so bad. I already don't like the CHIPS Act. I don't like doing what is essentially welfare for corporations, that then they're going to, make all these plants in America, and
they're going to give it back.
They don't even make the plants. They're like, oh, we got help.
Yes. John says it right. Larry, use a Russian accent. "I give you money for your company. You hire my brother to be in charge of communications." I do a bad Russian accent, but yes, I do a better German accent, but no, I do a bad one. Yes, absolutely. So here's money. What do I want to return? Nothing. You show me a favor. Literally, I always say the government's a mob. I always say the government's the mob. The government's the mafia. Literally the mafia. We're going to take 10%. Just 10%. That's all we're going to take. Well, Vinny, what do I got to give you in return? Nothing. You know what? You owe me a favor. Yeah, I'm being blatantly like mobist. Yeah, I do a better mob accent than Russian accent. Not a good Russian accent. So Mike used to live in Russia. He probably does a very good Russian accent. But yeah, I don't do it. I do a bad Russian accent. German, I do well. I do mob, not too bad. I'm from New York, so what are you gonna do?
Held up by environmental.
Oh, the CEO needed another $100 million bonus
that or whatever. You can't predict how the businesses are actually going to spend this money, whether it's going to.
That's my point. He's right. You have no idea what's going to happen with this money, and eventually the government is going to be unhappy. And when they're unhappy, they're going to decide what to do. Yeah. Daniel, thank you for the $10, my friend, in super chat. During the 2008 bailouts, the U.S. Treasury became a partial owner of General Motors due to its impending bankruptcy. Bad idea then, Bad idea now. Correct. It wasn't good when Obama did it, and it's not good when Trump does it. It's not good being done, period. It does not matter. It's not a good idea. It does not matter. It's a bad idea. But Larry, the Chinese do it. That's why we shouldn't do it. But Larry, the Russians do it, which is why we shouldn't do it. Yes. Yes. Daniel, thank you. Thank you. You're exactly correct. What's bad for Obama is bad for Trump. What's bad for Trump is bad for Obama. Yes. It stands the same. This is a terrible idea, and we're accepting it. Why? Daniel, because we're desperate. Because people want change. They don't care how it happens. They know the system doesn't work. Like, the system doesn't work. And you hear me say it all the time, and I'll just keep saying it. When people have a bad idea versus no idea, they take the bad idea, because the opposite is no plan, no idea, no way of helping, and people are hurting. If you're looking at what's happening across America now, people are hurting everywhere. You see them closing hospitals. You see them shutting down tech jobs. You see people being laid off everywhere. You're seeing people dropping out of colleges. You see colleges shutting down because people aren't going to college anymore. You see AI taking jobs. You see tech bros losing jobs. You see everywhere that's about. You see people not, as I talk all the time, you see people not pair bonding. You see people not getting girlfriends and boyfriends or husbands and wives. You see divorce every place. You see single mom, single dad everywhere. Yeah, we are not. You see depression on the rise. You see, what's it? It's some number, some huge, was like 40% or some huge number of women over 30 on antidepressants. I don't know. It was a high number. I forgot the number is, but some huge number. This is not good. This is not good. So, hey, whatever Trump wants to do it. That's what people are doing. I wish it wasn't true, but I see it. I do see it. So, yeah.
Translate to another dime in terms of jobs for the American people. So you should just let the market work, let them compete, let it work.
Well, that's laissez-faire stuff. I get. I get if you want me to do certain things to assist or fight in the arena, right? In the arena of realpolitik. I get that. I get that, but this is not the answer. This is not the answer.
Like this will create incentives for future legislators to want to award more things to Intel because the government owns part of it. I mean, you can't, once you've crossed that Rubicon, then don't tell me the government is not going to start doing policy that is favorable to Intel or is micromanaging in some other way. Like, that will be the inevitable result of having the government have an ownership stake in it.
So I just want to make sure I understand this. There was about $10 billion allocated in federal funds in the Chips and Science Act to Intel. So basically what the Trump administration did is say, well, we want something for the money we already gave you. So we're gonna say that we effectively bought a 10% share in the company.
Yes.
And the justification.
Now, I can move past this piece now. I just want you to see that was some of the background. Not only is this bad, but it sets a bad precedent. What's the precedent sets? Well, I want favorable terms from the government. I'll give the government 10% of my company. Yes. Now, here's the problem. I'm a smaller company. I'm going to make chips or whatever. All right. I would do something, right? And I'm a smaller company. 10% of my company means nothing. You don't care about my 10%. Intel, you care about that 10%. So they go, how about I give you another percent? What do you mean? Well, I want X, Y, and Z done. I want this regulation changed. I want this thing done. Throw a percent at you. Oh, okay, yeah. I'm a small guy. No. Don't change that. Make it fair. What are you going to do? I'll give you 1%. Yeah, but you're small. I don't care about you. Yes. Another one. Nothing but bad. All right, let me grab a couple comments here. I know you guys, a lot of guys are commenting. I want to grab some comments. This is the precedent of all this. The precedent of firing the Fed guy is a bad precedent. Why? It validates the Fed. And we shouldn't be validating the Fed, and acts like if I just have the right people in, then the Fed will be fine. No, the Fed's bad, period. That's bad. The 10% Intel's bad. The sending the troops into Chicago and New York City is bad. The random tariffs on frickin' India is bad. The flag burning thing is bad. But he's in the news. And you know what we're not talking about? EpiPen. We are not. We're not talking about EpiPen. Maybe he's the genius of all geniuses after all. Who's talking about EpiPen? Literally, was it? I think it was Bill Maher. He said nobody cares anymore. He was Trump got past that. And I told you about 3 weeks ago, 4 weeks ago, I said he may just do what he always does. He might flood the zone and then it goes away. And right now, he's flooding the zone and it's going away. That's why I'm not so sure this is failing, is why. And you might be like, Larry, everything you're saying is bad. Everything you're saying is bad. Yes. But if his goal is to flood the zone, to forget about EpiPen, I'm on YouTube, so I got to say EpiPen, you know who I'm talking about. The man who was the EP and Steen. That guy. So I'll get canceled on YouTube if I say his name, so I can't. I'll get demonetized for sure. So we don't talk about that anymore. That's gone. And then maybe he gathers these people and he blames Biden for everything. And then maybe next year, I mean, the Democrats are getting crushed anyway. Like Democrats have learned nothing from this. They're still screwing up. They still have no good plans. They're still a disaster. They're not taking advantage of this at all. Their answer is, I'm going to yell at how bad Trump is. He's bad. That's their answer. They have no answers. So they're still wrecking things. Hasn't changed. So I don't know. Anyway, let me take some of these comments before I move down here. There's a bunch of people popping up with comments, so I'll do that here if I can. All right. Okay, there is a poll. Let me get the poll out so I can see the poll. Let me get that poll out here if I could. Where's my poll? Okay. Recent law enforcement executive orders and economic policies have made you feel 1, positive on America's future, 2, negative on America's future, 3, afraid of where America's going, 4, not sure yet. That's a good poll. Guys, you should answer that one. That's a good poll. I like that one. Yeah. That's a good poll. I like that one. All right. Let's keep moving down here. All righty. Let's see here. All right. Patty says, I'll try to stay calm, do some breathing techniques, but I'll be honest. I am freaking out. I love all of you for giving me this outlet. Yeah, I'm bothered too, Patty, as you can tell. I am bothered also. I'm also bothered by this. But as you've probably seen, I'm back in action, running around upstate New York again. I'm heading back up again, by the way, next week. I'm up again this weekend. I am, if I don't know where I'm heading. If you guys check out any of my social media, look at my social media, see where I'm going. I'm going to Delhi in Delaware County on Friday. Saturday, I'll be in Schoharie, and then I'll be in Rensselaer County, and then I'll be in Greene County. So 3 separate counties on Saturday. And on Sunday, Sunday, I will be at the Columbia County Fair and then in the Bronx. So I will be all across the kind of the Hudson Valley-ish area and then down in the Bronx over this weekend. So not getting up to you yet, Patty, but I am coming up to your area, I think, if I'm not mistaken, early November. I think I'll be up in your area. Is that right? Hold on, let me see what I got going up here. I think I'm going to be up in your area. Yeah, I'm doing Western New York, and then I will be up in your area. Yep, Clinton County, October 18th. So I will be up there to see you again, Patty, in about a month and a half. I'll be back up there. So I will be running around. I can give you a big hug. There we go, if you can make it. So yes, I am concerned too. I am bothered 100%. So yes. All righty. Let me walk down here. Rick says, I'm afraid the Democratic establishment types are kind of digging the idea they have to get the powers Trump is trying to use. Yes, man, you've hit a part, Rick, which is why the precedent is so bad. Do I think Trump is going to decide to buy 45 companies? I don't think he'll do that. I think Trump is very transactional, right? He does what he thinks will get him what he wants when he wants it. That's how he thinks. That's what he does, right? All good. So when that happens, I think he'll just do that thing. But you're right. If the establishment Dems get a hold of this, they're going to buy up everything. You're totally correct. You're going to see massive increases in it because it's another way of getting revenue in to the government to spend. Yes, this is a terrible, what Trump's doing is terrible here. Just terrible. Gumir says, live for Governor of New York. Yes, good idea. Yes, 100%. So, yeah. Oh, yeah, Rick goes, that's my best because of why they appear powerless against Trump. You know, I'm going to tell you what I think about what's going on in the Democratic Party right now. If you're a Democrat or you lean left and would like to vote Democrat, but the party's broken. You're right. The party's broken. And the party's broken because the infrastructure to make change doesn't exist. Right? The infrastructure to make change doesn't exist in the party. They have set up so many rules, so many backstops, so much culture that it is all about silliness, procedure, rules. That's all it's about. There's no way to actually do anything that's valuable. They can't, even when people want to. You can see it. Look what happened with David Hogg. Look what's happening with Mamdani. The guy is it Minnesota? Was the guy in Minnesota or Michigan? I forgot. That one guy who was like a Mamdani Jr. someplace up there. They got rid of him too. Right? Again, not that I'm behind the guy, but to be forward. If you lean left in America as a voter, not as a Democratic establishment, you should be loving Mamdani. You should be loving that guy. I forgot where he's from, Michigan or Minnesota. That other guy. He's another socialist. You should be loving him. That's far left. And many average voters, Democrats, do. Like, this guy's great. So let's get this guy to go on and give us the free buses and stuff. They love that stuff. I get it. They should. That's who they are. I got it. I'm not mad at them for it. That's who they are. Okay. Well, why does the establishment stop it? Because it can't. Why does the establishment in New York City support Cuomo? It shouldn't. He's a disgraced governor. Doesn't matter. The establishment is put together for that to work exactly that way. So, yeah. Yes, absolutely. All righty. Let's see here. Let's see him go down here a bit. All right. Mastermind's messing with Mike already. He says, looks like we're going to get into First Amendment rumble. Maybe. James says, is Trump's increase in power a good thing? In a word, no. Correct, James. No, not at all. Look, if you're going to do these things, that you aggressively do it, then do it on things that matter, that can make change, that you have a plan for. Not just, I'm mad. That's unacceptable. Except I think, I said it. I think the concept here is, we're not talking about EpiPen. And it's working. Go around the internet now and look for anything to do with the list. You can find it, but you're searching. You are searching for it. It is buried. I say this all the time. When you on the internet, when bad things happen on the internet, it's you can't remove them, right? It's done. If I say something stupid, do something dumb, it's on the internet forever. I can't erase it. What can I do? Swamp it with other things. One of the reasons why I make so much live content. So when I screw up, it gets lost in the sauce. So yes, of course, it gets lost. Exactly. So this, I think that's it. So yeah. Phil says, this is one of the things that I will always concern me about Trump. He's not illogical. True. He's pragmatic, and pragmatic means you do wrong things for the right reasons. And the reverse. Yes, and the reverse. Right? And the example I'll give you of the reverse, Phil, is, as I said, if anyone can end the wars, if they can be ended, it's him. I'm not sure they can be ended. But as I said, I've been saying for a year. But if they can be ended, it's him. They might go, wait a minute, Larry, ending the wars is a good thing. Yes. Why would he do it? Because he cares? No, he wants a Nobel Peace Prize. So people might say, well, that's selfish. It's the wrong reason. Yes, but it would be the right thing. So he could do either the wrong thing for the right reasons or the right thing for the wrong reasons. Just do the right thing. I don't care why. And I said it before, and I stand on that. If Trump wants, showed, Obama up and get a Nobel Peace Prize, and that's why he's solving the wars, good. Give him the prize. I'll help nominate him, just like Clinton said that. I'm with Hillary Clinton saying that. Yeah, solve him. I don't care why. Don't care. If he can do it, please do it. Yes. Liberty goes, them damn e-files not going away. They kind of are. Master Hour, nice one. Trouble's playing 4chan chess. Nicely done. Mike Voss says, well, Trump is still working on things he promised in the campaign. But yes, a lot of balls getting juggled right now. No real choices. He may lose all leverage after midterms. I think you're right, Mike. That's what I'm saying. I'm not prepared to judge yet because he is still working on things. It's true. Look, I feel like sometimes I just keep saying the same stuff, but it's just true. His communication has been terrible. He should have never promised. There's an old saying in business. Those of you who are in business know the saying, right? You want to under-promise and over-deliver. That's how you are able to be good in business, right? You under-promise and you over-deliver. You say, Mike, I get this to you, but I probably can't get it to you till next, Thursday. Then I give it to you on Tuesday. You're like, wow, Larry, you're the best. You told me Thursday and you got it to me Tuesday, right? So I under-promised, I over-delivered. Trump did the opposite. He was like, oh, done tomorrow. I'm like, dude, you can't get this done tomorrow. It's impossible. It's never. And he was like, yes, and the world's going to be awesome in 5 seconds. And again, I go back to Milei. Milei, he learned nothing from Milei. Milei likes Trump. Trump should like Milei. Milei said, this first year is going to suck. It's going to suck. But after it sucks, it's going to be way better. And people went, okay, you told me it's going to suck for a year. I'm going to wait for a year, and it better be better. And it is. And people are like, we like this guy. He told us it's going to suck for a year, but then it's going to be better. And it sucked for a year. And now it's better. Trump should learn from LA. His communication was garbage. Because you're right. He is working on things. But he was gonna. Like people like me and you who pay attention to this stuff in detail, both of us knew this wasn't going to be 5 seconds. But you and I also both know the average American doesn't look as deep as we do. They're living their life. This isn't their life. This is our life. It's not their life. Their life is other stuff. They don't pay attention to this. Trump said it's going to be great tomorrow. It's tomorrow. It's not great. Trump sucks. Done. 1 + 1 is 2. That's it. There's no thing anyplace else. So, yeah. Anyway. All right. Let me keep going. Phil says, Trump, he's going to make deficit poof disappear. Poof, poof, poof. My gosh, it's bigger than ever. True. He should have just said it. Look, when I was at a couple of my events over this last weekend, people ask me about things like the debt of New York State. And I tell them, New York State's so broken financially, I cannot start fixing the debt in the first 4 years. I can't. It is, the state is so broken. I have to first patch the holes in the boat before I can take it anyplace. I got to patch the hole. I got to stop the water from flowing out of it before I can try fixing the damn thing. I just got to stop it from bleeding. I got to stop the water from pouring out. I'm pouring in, pouring out, pouring in. I got to stop the water from pouring in. I got to stop that first, right? Trump should have said that. I'm not promising New Yorkers that all of a sudden I become governor and everything's awesome. No, I become governor and we stop patching up the holes. He should have done that. Yes. Because then even if it was bigger, he should have said that. He said, look, I have to do this and this and this to get here, and the deficit will be bigger. And if you remember what I said, the most recent budget that was bigger, I said I didn't expect this budget to be smaller. It's the first one. I didn't expect it. I said next year I wanted it to be the same or smaller. I'd have been happy with it being the same, Phil, just not up. I'd have been happy with that, just didn't go up. No, I'm not getting any of that. None of that. So yes. Kinsuki, how are you, my dear? Good to see you. If what Trump is doing is overreach, but it's effective, do the ends justify the means? I think most Americans would say yes. I don't like it, but I understand it. And it might be the case. Trump has done stuff like this in the past, like crazy. You think, what's he doing? And it winds up working? Possible. And I think most Americans want change. They know what's happening now is not working. And if what he does, regardless of what he does, if all of a sudden next year, all of a sudden people can buy houses, all of a sudden you find that people getting jobs again, you find men aren't checking out, the trade deals are working with manufacturing. And that's what he says, if all that stuff's happening, can't say they don't care. Like, fine. They'll be like, you know what? Remember we had that rule that says Trump can be president again? He can be president again. I'm not joking. If everything he says actually happens, is my camera working here? There we go. If everything he says actually happens, if he gets the things he says, we'll say we don't care about the Constitution. Go again. I'm not joking. That Americans will say that. That's how broken we are. So while I don't like it, Americans will be fine with it. How do I know that? Bloomberg. Happened here in New York. New York has term limits, unless you're Bloomberg. Then no, they don't. Because That's it. So yes. All right. Mike says, I'm not happy about troops in Chicago. Should be FBI/DEA/Treasury, like Prohibition going after Capone. I could see that, particularly if the city's asked for it. I could. The troop thing's always bothered me. The second piece about this, Mike, is when he does this, it validates every left meme about him, right? Every left meme about Trump is, oh, he's gonna make the coup and he's gonna have the troops in the streets and the blah blah blah, right? That's every meme about him. When he does this, it validates the memes. It's silly. It doesn't make sense. He shouldn't be doing it. It's a mistake. You're right. If you're gonna do it, use the FBI, use DEA, whatever. If you're gonna do it, use that. Troops is a terrible idea. It validates all the memes the left puts about him. It's a terrible thing. Unless, again, maybe he's just like, let's just divert from, Mastermind says it, from the list. Yes. It's kind of working, though. I mean, we're talking about it now, but it's not easy to find like it used to be. If it's a month ago, EpiPen's everywhere. The list is, the E-list is everywhere. Now? So Mike says, media and left are certainly saying a ton. Most of it's fear-mongering, dark fantasy, but Trump does nothing without pushback. Yeah, but he doesn't care about the pushback. He doesn't care. It doesn't matter. He gets pushback no matter what he does. This is what Democrats have done terribly for 10 years, and again, have learned nothing. Since 2015, it's 10 years now. Every time Trump says something, the left goes, evil, horrible, orange man, bad. Hasn't worked in 10 years. He's been president twice. He's still more popular than Democrats. Still, I mean, he has lost some of his popularity. It's true. A lot of Americans have gone more to like neutral and independent, but he's still more popular than Democrats. Still, Republicans, for those of you who don't know, Republican registration is going up. Democrats falling off a cliff. Youngsters, particularly youngsters, the Gen Z is one of the most conservative or right-leaning, Republican-leaning generations that they can remember. They can't remember one more conservative. That's true. Yes. Why? Nothing works for them. Nothing works for them. You can be mad at Gen Z all you want. Nothing works for them. And what do Democrats say? Everything's fine. What's wrong with you? Everything's fine. Give money to Ukraine. What's wrong? Everything's fine. Republicans go, everything's screwed up, and my iron fist will fix it. And they go, fine, I'll take the iron fist. Democrats got nothing. I'll take the iron fist. And then here comes Mamdani, free buses. And like, free buses. Okay. The Republicans in New York got nothing. He got free buses. I'll take free buses. It's that simple. I know it sounds simple because it is. It's that simple. So, yes. Anyway, all right. Let me keep going down here if I can. All righty. Liberty Lady. Oh, okay. Hold on. Liberty Lady says, I moderate a live stream for Republicans the other day. A person in the chat said, I fought for the flag and I'll shoot somebody to death. They burn it. I said, so if I burn the flag in my backyard on my property, you feel you should be able to shoot me. I said, that seems to go against the NAP. He didn't seem to be bothered too much with that. Yeah. The people who are angry, Liberty Lady, they don't care. They're angry. They feel like their country has been taken away from them. They feel like everything that they stand for has been disrespected. And in many cases, they're right. Again, I'll go back to Bill Maher again. Bill Maher said it years ago. This has got to be 4 or 5 years ago. There were a bunch of Democrats on his show. And they're, of course, scolding Trump voters, calling them stupid, because that's what they do. And he's like, oh, they're all dumb. Why do they vote against their best interest? These stupid people voting for Trump, right? That's what they were saying. And Bill Maher agrees with them, but at least was honest. He goes, you know why, right? Like, why? Because they hate you. And they hate you because you hate them. They're not going to vote for you. You hate them, they hate you. Why would they vote for you? Yeah. Yes. It's that simple. I go upstate and I find a bunch of Republicans, they hate Democrats. They ain't voting for Kathy Hochul. They don't care. Kathy Hochul could say, hey, I'm a changed woman here in New York, and I'm now going to be pro-Second Amendment, whatever. They still won't vote for her. They don't care. And Democrats hate Republicans. In New York City, hate Republicans. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. Curtis Lieber could turn around, who's running for mayor here, could say, I'm going to give you not just free buses, but free trains. They still won't vote for him. They hate him. We're at a point where we hate each other. And that guy who said that he's going to shoot you dead, he meant it. He wasn't joking. He meant it because he sees that person who burns that flag as someone who hates him. So he hates him back. This is our big problem. And the problem is with the rhetoric. The rhetoric is hateful. It's hateful. And Orange Man Bad is the poster child for that. And it all comes from that. I'm sorry. Today it comes from that. Hate them. Anyway, hope that made sense at least. All righty. Let's see here. Rick says, I believe Trump is what the establishment wanted to make great theater and do unpopular things for them. You know, maybe. I could see that. Maybe that's why they just hang out and let him do stuff. Maybe. Yeah. It could be true. All right. Let me grab some more of these if I can. All righty. Are you guys going back and forth? I appreciate that. I appreciate the back and forth. Yep. Peter says, just call it what it is, Larry Sharpe. You're not for a dictator who's hijacking the right-wing base of politics. Just call it what it is, Larry Sharpe. You're not for a dictator who's hijacking the right-wing base of politics. It's a valid point, but I think you're only going right-wing. I'm not sure Trump is actually right-wing. I don't think he is, to be forward with you. I think Trump's very transactional. If you look at what it is to be a conservative now, today, what everyone would consider right-wing, Trump isn't that. Trump is accepted by the right wing, like they accept him, but he does whatever he wants. If it happens to be left-wing, okay. If it happens to be right-wing, okay. He has a huge chunk of America believing that he is America first no matter what, which I don't think is true. But that people believe that. That's true. People do believe that no matter what is America first, no matter what. So whatever he does is for America. So it's fine. Okay, I know it looks left-wing, but it's for America. So it's fine. I know it looks authoritarian, but it's for America. So it's fine. I know it looks this, but it's for America. So it's fine. I think there's a lot of Americans going down that road. So yeah. And not just right-wing. If you look in general, it's male more than female, heavily, and it's left and right-wing. And if you go to the Maha side all came from Democrats. A lot of them are, in many ways, left-wing, but they're anti-establishment. And because they're anti-establishment, they're like, we'll take anything. We'll take Trump. Fine. And I know people who hate Trump go, how can you take blah, blah, blah. I get that all the time, you anti-Trumpsters. I get it. But you're not understanding something. The system doesn't work. They're unhappy. And you going, but Trump's evil. Clearly doesn't work, hasn't worked, is failing. And what last year, and you're seeing this, I told you guys this last November. People are like, what happened in the election? And what I said was, this was the stop scolding me election. That's what it was. I'm tired of being scolded. And now, this goes back to the part that I love. It's a part from, I think it was Star Trek 3. I think it was 3. Klingon Commander Kluge says to Kirk, when Kirk says, they're both on a planet, if you guys remember that time, the planet's collapsing and crashing, and they have to beam people off the planet before the planet collapses. And Kirk says to a newly reborn Spock, he says to the commander, he says, you should beam the Vulcan up. And the commander says, no. He says, why not? Because you wish it. That's the reason. No, because you want it. No. That's what people are now, Peter. But it's better for you. No. Why? Because you want it. But it'll help you. Then I guess I'm not getting help then. But he's evil. Then I guess he's evil. Well, they'll be fascists. I guess we'll be fascists then. You want it. You hate me. So no. You've been scolding me for years and calling me every horrible name. So whatever you want. No. I don't care if it harms me. I don't care if it harms you. No. And too many Democrats don't get that. They don't understand that mindset. They don't get it. They think, well, I'm just going to keep insulting. You're going to keep losing. It doesn't work. And you can use your logic behind it and scold all you want and shame all you want. America's done with that shit. Particularly young men. They are done being scolded. It's not going to work. It's not working. It's failing horribly. No, you should. Those days are long gone. And if you don't want to see it, you don't have to. It's the way it is. Up to you. So, yes. Rick says, I wanted Biden to poop his pants, so I was never disappointed. Well, look at you. You met your expectations. Biden met expectations for you. There we go. Mike goes, it's not random tariffs. You are wrong. It's pressure on Russia to a peace deal. In the case of India, none of the tariffs are random. They just don't overlay to economic slum. Absolute garbage. That's cope. Nope. You want to do, you know who's the biggest buyer of Russian oil? China, not India. And India don't give a shit. India literally said, no, we're going to keep buying. If I want to buy more. India did what I just said. India said, oh, you don't want us to buy Russian oil? We're going to buy more. I'm not joking. They said, we're going to buy more. Didn't work at all. Utterly failed. You're going to punish somebody, you punish China. They buy the most. So no. And now he's punishing India, again, to make an enemy that he can beat up on. This is distraction, Mike. It is random because it's distraction. There's no reason at all to tariff India except, oh, I have an enemy now. India, see America, hate India. Because you heard his boy. What does his boy say? India steals our jobs. It doesn't steal our jobs. We give the jobs away. That's garbage. That's Republican. That's Republican rhetoric. That's Republican propaganda. Utter horseshit and cope. He wanted to make an enemy out of India so we can start hating on India. And it's working. Again, the guy's right. He's fucking working. But it's completely random. It was just to find an enemy. We found an enemy, and now India. His boy went up and said it. They're stealing our jobs, and they take our stuff, and they blah, whatever they said. We've been giving jobs to India for freaking 50 years. Utter garbage. That shit's made up. If it was... Russia is nowhere near a peace deal from this. Affected them zero. Their foreign minister today, their foreign minister said, literally said today, we have no plans for a meeting with Zelensky and Putin. No plan. None. Zero. That shit failed miserably. Why? It wasn't meant to. You listen to propaganda, Mike. That shit's not true at all. The evidence is everywhere. It's not there at all. Kentucky says, priorities, Trump priorities. Thank you. See, he should have hired you to be in his ear and tell him to do that. That's correct. Yes, absolutely. So Mike also goes on to say, I disagree on flag burning. Just like the authoritarian nations of Germany and France. Yes, France. Flag burning is an action that destroys foundation of a nation. Flag burning is an action that destroys foundations of a nation. Just like the authoritarian nation of Germany and France. Yes, France. So you're saying people should go to jail for burning flags? That's utter garbage. How could you say that shit? Of course not. My property, do what I want with it. My property, I do what I want with those. As long as it's on my property, I do what I want with it. That's it. It's a piece of cloth. It's a piece of cloth. That's what it is. And look, here's the reality. And this is the same thing as it with so many people. And what we're failing as a nation. If burning a flag is so common in your nation, what's your nation doing? That's why I don't think we should have a draft. Don't get me wrong. I'm a veteran. I'm very happy I joined the military. I'm happy I joined the Marine Corps. Obviously, I am. There shouldn't be a draft. Larry, what if there's a war and they're going to invade? First, that's never going to happen. That's a fantasy we made up. But let's say I'm wrong. And all of a sudden, the Chinese decide to, I don't know, put a base in Canada and attack, whatever. I can't even imagine that stupid shit. But okay, it happens. If enough young men don't want to volunteer to defend our nation, then our nation's not worth defending. We have screwed up so much. Our nation is not worth defending if young men won't volunteer to do so. That's our fault. I hope that would never happen. But if it does, then we deserve what we get. And I'll stand by that every single time. Young men usually flock to defend this country. Happened after 9/11, World War II, Vietnam. Young men flock to defend our country. Civil War, every war we've ever had, young men have flocked to defend our country. Even after 9/11, they flocked as fast as they could. All over the place. If we ever get to a point where young men go, nah, I ain't fighting for this country, then we have failed them and our nation. Same thing with flags. If everyone's burning our flags, what have we done? What have we done? Mike, you agree with me on this part. I know you do. Look what's happening on our campuses. Our college campuses are creating anti-American citizens. We're creating. That's our fault. Why in the fuck are we paying these kids to go to these shit schools? That's our fault. We deserve that. End this horrible system. End the government sending to these schools. End the government paying for these schools. Get rid of this. And again, younger men not going to college. Do your homework on this. This guy, Mike probably knows about it, but other people who aren't, do your homework. Colleges are closing all over the country now. They're closing. The only ones that are staying up are the ones who have big endowments. And this is the reason why Trump did something else again. Mr. Trump decided he's going to let 600,000 Chinese students into America. But the tariffs are not random, Mike. 600,000 into it. You know how many there are now? About 300,000. We're going to double Chinese students here. Why? Why'd you double Chinese students? I thought China was our enemy. I thought they're beating us in technology. I thought they're stealing our stuff. But that's what you told me. I thought TikTok was evil. So you told me all that shit, didn't you? Yeah. Now all of a sudden you want 600,000 of them here? Again, I'm not against that. But why? Why? It's a gift to colleges. I'm not joking. It's a gift to elite colleges. Why? Because they all pay full boat. They all pay the full amount, either by their wealthy families, oligarchs, or the Chinese government. They pay full massive amounts. Why? Because Americans aren't going to college anymore. How are you going to support these colleges? You bring in foreigners. How are you going to support the trades when American men don't want to work? You bring in migrants. Yeah, again and again, our answer is bring in migrants. But I thought Trump was against migrants. I guess not. I guess not. He just wanted the college migrants. Biden wanted the regular workers. Trump wants the college workers. Yeah. So, yeah, there's a reason people are burning the goddamn flag, because we're screwing up. Let's stop screwing up. Why do I care what someone... I don't care if you burn a flag. That's not true. Not true. That's not true. I do hate it. I do. I hate it. It does bother me. But you should go to jail for it. And here's the other part, Mike. I'll go one step further. We should be, as a culture, and we're not, we should be a culture that shames you for doing that, so that you wouldn't want to, because your friends be like, what the hell is wrong with you? Why are you doing that? We don't do that. We go, yeah, America's evil. We do that. That's what our culture does now. Why? Because we trained our youth to do that. Because we trained our youth to do that. That's our fault. That's our fault. Our culture is collapsing. America is not serving its people, so of course they burn the flag. Let's make it to where America serves its people, that we look and go, why are you burning a flag? What are you, stupid? What's wrong with you? That's what should happen. It doesn't. It doesn't. Fahim, thank you for the $20, my friend. Appreciate the support so much. Guys, if you want to support like Fahim is doing, you can. If you want to, you can. If you want to get your comment to go right to the front, if you want to chat with me about it, you can super chat me if you want to. Super chat me on YouTube or rant me on Rumble. Either of those works well. Either one absolutely works well. They're both good. If you want to become a member, if you want to also, $49 per month, click that join button on the Sharpe Way YouTube page to become a member. $49 per month helps a lot. Why does it help? It helps because it keeps the show going. I can spend less time working and more time doing this. And as you know, I've been up running around doing a lot of political stuff recently around New York State. That takes up even more time. Time that I'm not working, that I'm doing that. So things like this help out. I want to be very clear, though. I must be clear. FEC rules, we'll be clear on this. If you support me on this channel, that is supporting me and the Sharpe Way Show. If you like Larry, I don't care about your stupid Sharpe Way Show. It's not stupid, but I don't care about it. What I care about is you going out there and making political change across New York State. Great. That is separate. That is LarrySharpe.com. And that will be a political donation if you want to go there. That is separate than this right here. So you do what you think is appropriate, how you want to. But what also you can do, regardless, you can do is you can click the button known as like. You can do that. That's free. Doesn't matter if you like me for Larry Sharpe. If you like me for Sharpe Way, doesn't matter. Just click like. Lima, India, Kilo, Echo. It's a simple thing and costs you nothing. I appreciate that. So grab over on Rumble. Let's see here. SharpeFan12 says, not a fan either, but non-voting stock. Will the government actually make money through stock dividends? I assume so, right? But the problem, to be forward, Sharpe fan, this This specific thing, 10%, while it's bad because of the precedent it sets. Itself is not the end of the world. If this were the only thing, if he literally said, I'm going to have a specific carve out for this thing, it's an executive order only for this, and everything else is bad, and it's only because of national security, but then, okay, it would still suck, but it'd be just move on, fine. It's not what he said. He was like, no, we're doing it. Great deal. Let's do more. The precedent is what makes this bad, Sharpe fan. Yeah. So if they don't make money through stock dividends now, they will eventually. So yeah. Space Station says, Larry, do you think the U.S. is at a point of heading towards being a crumbling empire? If so, would sacrifice any of your ideas to reverse it? Would sacrifice it? All right. Oh, would I sacrifice any of my ideas to reverse it? The empire is absolutely crumbling. There's no doubt it is. Of course it is. And for the most important reason of all that I keep saying, we are not happy. That is the number one issue. We are not happy. Unhappy people want authoritarianism. If you lean right, you want fascism. You lean left, you want socialism. But unhappy people want fascism. They want authoritarianism. They do. So yes, the empire is crumbling. Absolutely true. It's clear it is. You can see it in our road system. You can see it in our colleges. You can see it in our business. You can see it everywhere. You can see that things don't work, right? Things don't work. That's the thing, right? You can notice that systems fail. Things don't work. So yes, it is. Would I sacrifice my ideas to reverse it? It's a good question. And I think this will go back to what Kintsugi asked. If you do the wrong thing, does the ends justify the means? I think sometimes, yes. The problem is, who decides that? Who gets sacrificed? And who decides if it's right or not? And the hard part is only history will know if you're right. For someone to make that choice and say, I'm going to sacrifice my, my principles or whatever, or my ideas, so I can achieve this thing. Who decides, right? An example might be, I believe in a non-aggression principle, of course. I think it's a good principle. But would I sacrifice to say, save my children? Yes, I would. Of course I would. Of course I would, right? To save my children. Yes. Do I believe in lying? No, you never hear me lie. If I say something that's wrong, because I made a mistake, or I screwed up, or I'm stupid, I don't know any better, right? But I'm not. You never hear me lie. I talk too much every day live. Lying to me is stupid. It'll just come back and burn me. So if I say something that's wrong, it's because I don't know or I made a mistake. Either one. But I'm not going to lie. Would I lie to save my kids? 100% to your face. You wouldn't even know I was lying. 100%. Of course I would. Would it end justify the means? If I'm saving my kids? Yes. Right? I was teasing. I was saying, someone's got a gun to Mike's head and says, tell me you love taxes or I'll kill him. Love taxes. Taxes are the best thing in the world. Oh my God, please tax me. Tax me better. I'm not going to let him hurt Mike. He's my friend. I'm going to lie my ass up. Yeah, I love it. Oh my God. Can I vote for some more taxes? I would love. Oh, can I get more? I don't have enough. Here's all my money. Of course I would do that. So I think yes. Would I? Yes. If I thought that it was the end, I would. But I might be wrong. And history might treat me poorly. I would hope if I ever have to, I hope I never have to. I hope I make the right decision and history treats me well. Sadly, history is written by the victors. So if you lose, even if you're right, it doesn't really matter. So yeah, I hope I answered your question. I want to be honest. That's actually how I feel. So yes, I'm an ideologue, but I'm not stupid. Well, sometimes I'm stupid. I'm an ideologue, but I'm not crazy. Well, sometimes I'm crazy. I'm an ideologue, but I want stuff done. There we go. Okay, that's a better way of saying it. There we go. Yes. All righty. Let me grab some more of this if I can. All righty. Let's see here. Daniel says, if President Trump really wants to round up criminals, he can unilaterally release the EPI files. Yes. And then prosecute the list. That's true. He could take care of criminals because he cares about criminals. Absolutely. Yes. Rick says, if you can go to jail for burning a symbol of the state, that's a symbol of tyranny. True. True. Yes. Kim says, I thought proper disposal of U.S. flag is to burn it. True, but there's a procedure. And you can go to many places to do so. Your American Legion will do it. Your VFW will do it. I don't know if they still, the Boy Scouts used to. I don't know if they still do, because the Boy Scouts have changed tremendously in the last year since I was a kid. When I was a kid, the Boy Scouts would also do it. But now I know VFWs will do it for you. American Legion will do it also. So yes, absolutely. So, all righty. Let me go down. B goes on to say, plus the guy who wants to kill someone who burns a flag, I asked if gay people thought that he should die if he burned a pride flag. And of course, he didn't answer that for me. Well, yeah, but it's a whole different thing. No, but they're all bad ideas to die for. How about that? Yeah, let's not anyone get shot for any of that. So yeah. So anyway, all right. See if I can grab this if I could. All righty. Let's see here. Phil says Russia doesn't have a modern chip fab and has a modern drone industry. True. You're not wrong. You're not wrong. They have a massive drone industry. In fact, I think the largest drone industry on the planet right now. I think that's true. So, yeah. All righty. So Daniel goes on to say, incontrovertible proof that the GOP stands for nothing except being in power. There is no philosophy underpinning that party. Okay. Yes, but let me have a but on this one. Yes, but the issue is it's because Trump. Once Trump became their leader, they took down their platform. And now the Republican Party is what Trump says. The platform is what Trump says. That was not true in the past. It is now. So yeah, that's the difference, right? That's the difference. It has absolutely changed because of Trump. But yes, you are correct. But that's because of Trump. So yes. All right. Grab a couple more of these if I can. All right. Missy is talking about the advocates. You know, she's right. The advocates. You can take a free quiz at the Advocates of Self-Government. Click the link that's actually in the if you look at the description on Facebook, on YouTube, and Rumble, you'll see a description. And go to you'll see a link that says link to the advocate. Click that link. When you go to that link, do me a small favor, if you would. Head on over there and go to the single issue surveys. And if you would, take the government debt, money, and monetary policy survey. I'm talking about monetary policy. I'm talking about government buying, pieces of companies. Take that survey, if you would. And when you take it, when you're done, share it. And when you share it out into your social media, use the same link you use when you're sharing it so they know that we did it. That's what I want you to do. Take that survey. It's the government debt, money, and monetary policy survey, right? Here, which one of the things here? Which of the following most closely aligns with your benefits about central banking policy? Central banking policies work to the benefit of the least advantaged in society. Central banking policy should include complete transparency and allow private currencies to compete with the US dollar. Central banking policy should focus on stability and keeping inflation low. Which do you think is close to what you think? Click on that. Click on one you think is appropriate and move on. It's an interesting quiz. Makes you think about the ideas of what you're thinking about, what matters to you. You can share with others so they can do so also. So yes, please do that if you want. She is correct. Click that. Go check out the advocates. The reason why I love this so much is it gets people thinking, and that's what I want. I want good conversations. Take a couple seconds and do that. Thank you, Missy. Captain Phoenix says, Larry, if you want me to play devil's advocate in favor of the 10% ownership of Intel, I can. But it'll take like 3 YouTube comments. Okay. Up to you, brother. Do what you feel. Do whatever you feel. Absolutely. So yes. All right. Shelly says, grants in chip manufacturing. I don't remember saying I want to pay for this. Well, there's nothing I've said I want to pay for. But yes, you are correct. And I go back to it. If they were saying, hey, everyone gets a check, that's something. Mashman says, Communist States of America. Yes. Yes. But to Daniel's point, what Trump says is the Republican Party. That's how it works. And you can be mad at it if you want to, but that's what it is. Other Republicans have tried to stop this. All of them have failed. Trump is an anomaly. Again, whether you like it or not, he is an anomaly. He's totally an anomaly. Yes. All right. Let's see here. Let me move down here if I can Rick says God hates flags. That's pretty good. I like that. Let me grab here again. Okay, Kim goes on to say, we taxpayers and consumers fund the Federal Reserve System. It should be our bank. That would be amazing. It'd be amazing. Public bank. Yes. Gene says, I love the idea of a sovereign fund to pay for healthcare. You could do it then, right? I say it all the time. I'm not against sovereign funds at all. They're not a bad. Look, socialism is amazing when you add capitalism. It is. You add capitalism, it works. Particularly add someone else's money. That is awesome. Oh, Gene's paying? You get a call. You get a call. Oh, Gene's paying. Don't worry. You get a call. You get a free bus. You get a free bus. Don't worry. Phil's paying. You all get free buses. Phil's paying. Then it's great. I love socialism when you add capitalism and particularly someone else's money. Then it's great. But we got to make that happen. And Norway's figured out a way to make that happen. And so is Singapore. So yes. Now the advantage is the sovereign fund of Saudi is also people's money, but it's based upon their oil. So they sell the oil and the fall from the oils, which is other people's money, fills their sovereign fund. So yeah, we could make that. I'm okay with that. Yes. So, all right, keep going down here. Kim goes on to say, about 3 months into his first administration, Trump said he wanted to dismantle the Fed. That perked my ears. Yeah, now he's just like, I'll fire someone. Useless. Him firing someone validates the Fed. It validates the Fed. That's why I don't like it at all. So yes. Patty says, how do we expect people to be functioning members of society when society is not functioning? This is my point, Patty. I think you were on the same page here. As much as I tease in this show, I do. But the most important piece that I bring up here, though, is people aren't happy. They aren't satisfied. They aren't getting what they need in life. Unhappy people is not a good community. The society isn't functioning. You're right. For most people, don't get me wrong. There's a small percentage where society's doing just fine, right? There's a small percentage. And generally those people are wealthy, but there are some exceptions. Most are just wealthy. But not all wealthy people are happy, but at least society functions for them because they can pay their way through it. But to the earlier question that Space Jason brought up, even for wealthy people, many things aren't working. Society and the empire is collapsing. That's true. So yeah, we have to fix this piece. Why would you want to? Right? Why would you want to? So yes. Mike says, Larry, Trump didn't do this out of air. He capitalized and got a tangible asset from the Biden/Dem kickback. Not the authoritarian takeover you described, but other likely Dem presidents could. Well, yeah, see, 2 points I bring up. One, I know where you're going with this, and I'm agreeing with you. I don't think Trump is trying to take over businesses in that way. I think he's doing what he thinks is going to help him or work in his area. That's what I think he's doing. That's what I think. But there are people who are more left-leaning who would happily wreck that. I think, yeah, happily wreck that and go further and just turn to a communist state. Yes. But no, tangible asset doesn't mean anything. It doesn't make it okay. Right? He got a tangible asset. Doesn't make it okay. He shouldn't own it, and we shouldn't be going through it at all. We shouldn't. All right. Let me go on. Captain says, if Cenk is in favor of something, chances are it's a terrible idea. True. Yes. Mike says, zero comparison between Mamdani stores and Intel 10%, even though they screw both. No. Absolute, yeah, comparison. Of course it is. It's not 100%, but it's a comparison, of course. Ownership is still ownership, right? And the problem is, again, I'll agree with you on the first part when it comes to, Trump trying to take over and control Intel. That's not happening now, right? That is not currently happening. So at this moment, that's not happening. The Mamdani store thing, the government is controlling it. So that's a difference. I agree. But it doesn't mean there's no overlap. There's still government control. And in the case of the Intel, the government will still have light control, right? And will still have soft power, but eventually can have hard power. So it's not zero. There is a comparison. It's just not 100% either. But yeah. All right. Liberty says, I wonder how those libertarians have voted for Trump are on right now. Yeah. A lot of them aren't happy. You see it. A lot of them aren't. And I get it. I get it. Yes. 100%. All right, Patty goes on to say, who am I and who I become to survive with different people? I'm hanging on by a thread and a prayer. People, yeah, right? And people do the best they can with what they have. And when people get desperate, desperate people do desperate things. That's how it works. Make less desperate people, they'll have less desperate outcomes. Yes. So, yeah. So, anyway. All right. We're going to keep going down here. I have so many of these. I appreciate this. All right. Andrea says, maybe I should buy Stonk and Intel. Yeah, maybe. Maybe. All right. All right. Phil says, now I want to see Trump's birth certificate. That's cute. I like that. Kinsui goes on to say, defeated people are easy to control. Yes, also true. Or people just surrender too. That too. Also just, yeah. Yeah. All right. Missy says, bad idea versus no idea equals bad idea. True. Yes. Absolutely. And now Phil got jokes. If it wasn't for artificial intelligence, I wouldn't have any intelligence at all. Not bad. Yep. All right. Master Hour, does Trump have an Israeli passport yet? Okay. All right. All right. Captain Phoenix. Okay. You're going to tell me? Here we go. In an extremely short, too short, if I'm going to play devil's advocate, it comes across as a Hail Mary to pay down debt deficit with grant money that was already essentially spent without Congress. Giant stretch. All right. I could see that, Captain Phoenix. I could. In only one case, though. If you actually create a sovereign fund, which is a separate company, run with a separate CEO, not controlled by the government, with a mandate, with a government mandate that says, I'm making this number up for sake of argument, 10% of all proceeds must go to paying down the debt. I made that up. I don't know if that makes any sense, but conceptually, right? You have some number, whatever the case may be, right? Pays down the debt. Then I can see what you're saying. That could work. It's possible. Why couldn't it work, right? If you could make a massive sovereign fund, for our sovereign fund to be the same as Norway's or the same as Singapore for population size, we'd have to have about a $72 or $70 trillion sovereign fund. That would be massively the largest sovereign fund ever in the history of mankind if we ever had that. But that's how much my population would have to match. With a 70 trillion sovereign fund, if it just made 10% every year, so it made, and 10 as profit, and it had to give 90% away to pay off our debt, we could actually pay off our debt in 6 years, right? 7 years. Yes, that would work. We could pay off our debt in 7 years. That type of system could work. But first off, we don't even have a sovereign fund. Next, we don't have any trillions. So we'd have to work that sovereign fund up to that amount of money so it can stop paying off our debt. Could it work? Yes, it could work. But we haven't done any of this. We just took 10% and moved on. It isn't that. So yes, it is a giant stretch. Show me that we're creating an actual sovereign fund with a congressional mandate to pay off debt. I'm in. I am in if we do that. Otherwise, no. Joel says an estimate $4 trillion in funds in offshore accounts. If we pass the fair tax, these funds could come home and be invested without penalty. A huge boost in private sector investing domestically. You're not wrong. If we changed our tax laws, we could bring a whole bunch of that money back. 100%. Yes. Mike says he fired a Fed gal. Oh, right. Yes, it is a woman. You're right. Yes, I'm sorry about that. Yes, a Fed gal. But he can do it. Shouldn't have as no real reason. Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah, look, I don't think it's clear that he can. I think that's your viewpoint. It's not clear that he can. Why? Because the Fed is a private company. It's a private banking cartel. How can the president just walk in and start firing people in a private company? She can just go, no. I'm not leaving because I don't work for you. So yeah, it's not as easy as you might think. There is a legal battle for this. But my point is, I don't want it to be valid anyway. So just get rid of the Fed. Audit it. Don't fire somebody. Audit it. Or shrink it. Or end it. Or something. This firing of this gal, I don't care if it's a guy or a gal, but gal, good. Okay. I don't care. Doesn't mean anything. It's useless. It's another distraction piece. The e-files aren't out. Over at Rumble, Straight Ant, thank you for the $4. Am I too late to compare Intel deal with Amtrak? Maybe I missed it. Amtrak, perfect. Thank you for that. Amtrak, garbage. And Amtrak, terrible. Yes. Again, why would you do that? Why would you do that? Terrible. Yes. Phil says, thank you for $1. If we had privatized Social Security, hold on. We would have eliminated the largest line item on the total budget, and the American people would have trillions of dollars of equity. Yeah, we could have. And there are a lot of countries that have privatized Social Security, basically, even though they have other socialized medicine, but privatized Social Security. So you can do it. It can be done. Countries do it. And if you have a sovereign fund, problem solved. Problem solved. Yes. So, yeah, you could do both. I agree completely. Yes. Shredan says, didn't the federal government have control of the railroads? Now it does. Not officially, but it does. The federal government shouldn't be involved in railroads at all, which is why they don't work well, which is why we don't have a great rail system. It shouldn't be involved at all. Everything the government gets involved in gets worse every single time. So, yes, you're right, and it shouldn't. So, there we go. All right. Phil says, do you know where you won't get burned? Civil. True. You're right. That is a place where you will not get burned. Accurate. You won't get burned there at all. That's absolutely true. And here's something that's interesting about civil. Civil has an interesting piece here. And we're talking about China and India. And I'm saying, well, wait a minute. We're going to tariff India, but basically not China. We're going to change how that works. We're going to have the Chinese people come and say hi to us. We're going to give 600,000 of their people, get them over here. We're going to do all of that. But we got to buy Intel because I guess China or Russia or whatever the case may be. But here's an actual conversation about 4 years ago from Freedom Fest. And this is a debate. Is China engaging in the free market? This is an actual back and forth.
I'd like to start by addressing one of the key points of this whole China model, which is China engaging in the free market? Is the Chinese market actually free? Mr. Gilder, what do you think of this?
It's as free as the American market. It's moving in the wrong direction at the moment, but
Here is someone who actually says that the Chinese market's as free as the American market. The other woman who I happen to know is not going to say that. But my point is, it's an actual debate. You might think it is. You might think it's not. But either way, you hear an actual debate, a back and forth conversation about what's happening here. And this was 4 years ago. You want to know about it? You want to decide if you want to back Trump or not back Trump? You want to back Intel or not back Intel? Here's an opportunity to go check it out and learn something about it. And you do it by going on Civil, CIVL.com. When you sign up, upper right-hand corner is going to be greened out. Pop that green button and then put in the code Larry, Larry, 50% off. Yes, for the entire year. $25 for the whole year. And every single episode, I'll show you something cool on Civil. Every episode, I show you something cool on Civil. Head on over to Civil, CIVL.com. Code is Larry. $25 for the entire year. Real conversations, real information. If you're curious about things, Civil's the place to go to make you think differently about what's happening in our country and across the world. We're upgrading civilization on Civil, CIVL.com. Code is Larry. The coolest thing on the internet. Do that. Check it out. You'll see things just like this. All right, let me keep going if I could. Thank you for that, by the way. I do appreciate that. Yes. All righty. Mastermind Hour says, in Clinton County, do I know what the definition of is? That's like a 30-year-old reference. So, but yes. Yap is back. Oh my God, you're back. Why USA don't become socialist? It's on its way. It's on its way. That's what I would say. It's on its way. I wish it wouldn't. Phil says Trump is sending troops to Venezuela to bring back a lot of snow. Cute. But again, why in the world would we want to be sending troops to Venezuela? Why? So no one's talking about EpiPen. That is distraction, distraction, distraction. That's all that is distraction. Terrible. Yes. Yams goes, capitalism make rich people fat only. Actually, not true. It actually makes poor people fat. That's not true. It actually makes rich people thin. The exact opposite is true. If you look at America, generally speaking, rich people are in better shape than poor people are. So the opposite is actually true. But I appreciate I appreciate the back and forth. So yes, I am. Are agorists or anarchists welcome here? Of course. Why wouldn't they be? Everyone is welcome here. Have a chat. Yamp is talking about socialism. He's welcome. You're anarchist. Well, you're welcome. Come here. I don't mind. Have conversations. I don't mind at all. Lefties are good. Righties are good. I don't mind at all. I don't mind at all. Michael says, lost in the sauce. I got that, by the way, that saying, lost in the sauce. I got that from Howie Hawkins. He uses that all the time. I got that from him. Howie Hawkins, to your question, are anarchists, yeah, Howie Hawkins is a socialist. He's welcome here. He's a friend of mine. He lives here in New York. He's up in Syracuse. He was the Green Party candidate for president in 2018 and for president in 2024? No, 2020. Yeah. So yeah, he's a friend of mine. No, Marine, just like me and Mike, Marines. So yeah, and he's welcome. Absolutely. So Kevin says, are President Trump's takeover of cities other than DC unconstitutional? It's not clear to be forward. Generally speaking, if not asked, no. There are some exceptions, obviously, but generally speaking, if not asked, no. The federal government can step in under certain circumstances, and or if asked for. If a governor asks, mayors aren't supposed to be able to ask. Governors are supposed to be able to ask. So yes, that's the answer. Hope that makes sense. So all right. Let's see here. Literally says everyone's welcome here as long as you don't attack anyone in the chat, and you don't attack any moderators or Larry. Then free speech as well. Yeah, you can attack me all day. I don't mind. I get yelled at. I get yelled all the time. Totally fine. Totally true. So capitalism supporters don't have education. Capitalist supporters don't have education. You mean they're not educated? I'm assuming that's what you mean. They're not educated. I think that's what you mean, right? People who support capitalism. I would argue the exact opposite. I would argue that if you look at the people who have the best educations, they support capitalism. Those who are the most educated don't. So that's the opposite, right? The best education, they support capitalism. The most education, no. Now, why would you not support capitalism if you have the most education? Why? Because you've been put into an environment of academia. Academia doesn't support capitalism. Doesn't. Never really has, but it doesn't. So you spend so much time in academia, you start thinking that's the right answer. You start thinking smart people who read books should run everything, not recognize that personality is what runs things, right? So people who have the most education don't understand that that doesn't matter. The smartest guy in the room doesn't get things done. The smartest guy in the room should always be running things. It's the guy who gets shit done. That's the person who actually should be running things, right? Personality matters, initiative matters. Those things matter. For example, the MBAs and PhDs. It is very rare to find PhDs and MBAs who actually run businesses. It does happen, but it's very rare. The actual entrepreneurs who are actually building new things, they hire MBAs and PhDs to get their knowledge and then take action on their knowledge. So generally speaking, the more of an entrepreneur you are, the heavier hitter you are, you probably don't have a PhD, right? PhDs in general, particularly in the modern capitalist world, PhDs only do well in academia. They tend to get their ass kicked anyplace else. So most of the people who come out of academia, who come out trying to get out, they're just jealous because they get their ass kicked. Just true. I'm trying to be mean. It's just real. So yes. All right. Let's see here. Patty says, my family is not doing well financially. I can't afford civil or support your show anymore. We're having issues putting food on the table. We have enough food pantries which don't support their diets. Then please just click the like button, Patty. All good. No worries. This is why I say, if you're out there and you got the cash, throw me some cash. You got cash. Throw it. You don't have the cash? No worries. Like button's free. Please click that like button if you can. It still supports the show. And I'll go one step further. If you can share this on any other platform, cut and paste. Some other platform helps just as much. It's free. If you have any, if you're on Twitter or if you want something else, share it with somebody else. Oh, it's still good. No worries, Patty. No worries. All good. And you know, when I go to Plattsburgh, my event will be free. So you can come see me anyway. I don't charge for my events. Well, not true. if I charge for the event, it is an obvious fundraiser. So I will sometimes charge for an obvious fundraiser. But my just events, they're free. Just come on by and say hi. So hopefully I'll see you soon. I hope I will see you soon. And don't forget, like button. By the way, on a separate note, Thursday will be an AMA because I'm going to be up. I'm going to be running around New York State Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. So I'm only going to have a show Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. And the AMA that's usually on a Thursday, or a Friday, or Saturday will be on Thursday instead. So there will be a Thursday AMA. So there we go. Let me keep going if I could. Grab some more of these. All righty. Gene said, Scotty on Star Trek would always underpromise, over-deliver. True. And that's how it works. That is how it works. Correct. All righty. Where am I? Lily says, Larry just had Larkin Rose on. I believe he's an agorist. He is. Yes. He is. Absolutely. All right. Let's see if I can go here. Michael's a troll back in. That's good. Yeah, I don't know why you like trolling it. You can troll if you want to. I don't really care. I don't care. It's more back and forth. I'm happy with that. So yes, absolutely. All righty. Yan says USA puts locks in supermarket products. True. Here in New York City. It's true. Yes. That's true. But it's not every city. But it is some cities. You're right. Absolutely. And it's the cities that actually are sometimes the least capitalist cities. So yeah, that's true. Absolutely. All righty. Grab some more. You guys are going back here, back and forth with each other. Kim says, what makes America great is the freedom to burn your flag. True. Yes, that is true. Yes. If I can grab this one. Wow, I'm glad Yan's here. You guys going back and forth again. I love that. Joshy says, when America feels like it's on the edge of destruction, it's easy to abandon your principles in exchange for the greater good. It's true. And that was my worry, right? When asked about, what would I do? Is there a chance I would do it? Space Jason, right? Asked me that question. I think it's very hard to make the decision. You would have to actually believe in your heart that it's the end of the world, that there's no option, and hope, right? And hope, I think, that you've done the right thing. It is a gamble, right? I think it has to be the end. Like, again, the example, to save someone's life, they would have gun to someone's head. Okay, yes, sacrifice your principles. I get it. It's life and death right there with someone you love. Yeah, it's tough. I'm not saying you're wrong, Jossie. I'm not saying you're wrong. For the thing with $2, heads up, our talk with Ian goes on for a while. Okay. I like it. I think you mean Yan, but that's fine. Duke of X, thank you for the $5. Non-capitalists cannot accept the responsibility freedom entails. They don't have anything to offer the market, so they fight against it. Sadly, this is often true. You find people who are anti-capitalists, they often can't stand the idea of producing value. And I'm serious about that. They say, my labor, they speak a lot about labor and very little about value. That's their difference. They think somehow that there is innate value in labor. There isn't. Well, Larry, I worked for an hour. Okay, great. So you went outside and you dug holes for an hour. Did anyone ask you to dig holes? Well, no. Are the holes in a place special? No, but I worked for an hour. You owe me. No, I don't. You provide no value. Do I need the holes dug? Did you dig the holes where I wanted them? You provided value. You should get paid for that. Now, that's not how Americans often think. Americans are supposed to think, I provide value, therefore pay me. The most wealthiest people on the planet don't worry about an hourly salary. That's the least thing they care about. In fact, many of their salaries are actually quite small compared to what you would think. They get their benefit based on other value they bring, or bonuses, or benefits, or something else, so they make most of their cash. So yeah, people, particularly academics, well, I worked hard. I hear it all the time. I put time in. I don't give a shit. I don't care. And most people don't, right? Most people, when they look, go, yeah, so. People are fine to say that when it's not their money, right? And I'll give you a good example. What if you own a home and you say, hey, come fix my sink. And I come out to fix your sink. And after a day of working, I don't fix your sink. And you go, you didn't fix my sink. Yeah, I know, but I worked really hard. Yeah, but you know, what I'm saying. Yeah, but I worked hard, so you owe me $700. $700 for what? I worked really hard. What were you doing? Well, I was cleaning your bathtub. I didn't actually clean my bathtub, but I was working hard. So I thought I might have to clean the bathtub, you know. So I worked hard cleaning the bathtub. It's spotless. That's a spotless bathtub. $700. But you didn't clean my sink. Then all of a sudden they care about value. When it's their money, they care about value. You didn't fix my toilet or my sink, whatever. So no, you don't get paid. But when it's them, I worked hard. I need my money. Non-capitalists do think that my labor somehow matters and not the value that I'm bringing to somebody or someone or some company or some community or whatever the case may be. I think it's true. It's an issue. And most academics do think that way. I bet many of them do think that way. So yes. All righty. Let's see here. Let me see if I go down a couple of these. All right. Okay. That's good. That's good. You have a couple of these. Well, a lot of these. Okay. You guys are going back and forth a lot. That's true. I didn't realize how much you were going back and forth. That is awesome. Yes. All righty. Let's see. Kevin says, Larry, nobody has the backbone Giuliani had. What would you do as governor to fix this problem? I think you're exaggerating a bit. I think lots of people do. But why bother when they're just going to go to jail for it? Why bother? I think many people do have a background. What would I do? I would support them by letting them know that it's okay to do the right thing, by having an office of the pardon to pardon people who go to jail for stupid things, to let people out of jail for stupid things, to let people support themselves, to work hard, and to defend their communities. That's what I would do. I was talking on the first day. One of the things I would work on for the first day is the office of the pardon for something just like that. Yes, something just like that. So hope that makes sense at least. All right, I'm grabbing some more of this if I can. All righty. Joel says, I've heard young men go to the YMCA. I wish they did. Many of them don't, and they probably should. So, yes. Okay. You guys are really going back and forth a lot here. I like that. Okay. Let me keep going here. Minor Threat says, I don't think most of the youth would fight now. Same in Western Europe. If that's true, that's a problem that we have. Right? I hope you're wrong. In the past, that has not been true. I hope you're wrong. That's what I would say. I don't know that you're wrong. I hope you're wrong. I don't want that to be true. And I hope we don't have to find out. That's what I'll say. I hope we don't have to find out. Yes. All righty. Going down here. All right. Phil says, our poorest people are richer than many people of the upper middle class in China. Oh, talking again. I'm not sure that's true. I don't actually know. That's good. That's good. I don't know if that's true. I have no idea. I'm not really sure. Yeah. Phil goes on to say, Nixon saved China's economy. True. That's accurate. Whether you like or hate Nixon, anything about Nixon, that dude saved China. That's for sure. China be in real trouble if it wasn't for Nixon. Nixon went to China, opened it up. Oh, yeah. 100%. Without that, yeah. Yeah, absolutely true. Yes. Andrew says, Sharpe's too good for politics and he doesn't lie as blatantly as other politicians. True. Yes. True. Yes. Absolutely. All righty. Let me walk down here a couple more. All right. Kentucky says, release the files. He's in. He's not going to do that. I'm not sure. Look, I think eventually he might have to release the files. I think he might have to eventually. Maybe. We'll see. It's possible. The issue is, I think it depends on how much pressure. Right now, he's going to get away with it. As of now, he's going to get away with it. We'll see in a little bit longer. We'll see. Yes, we'll see. All righty. Okay. All right. Oh, Mike took care of Yan. Okay. Well, there we go. Bye. It's fine. Well done, Mike. Do what you must. I'm fine. There we go. So it is what it is. All right. Let me so many of these now, at least now you're talking to me now a little bit. So yes. Jim Cook says, face the fact the GOP is an actual threat to the Constitution. As bad as Democrats are, They've never been as bad as Mango Madman. I'm not sure that's true. And let me give you some pushback on this one, Jim. I think as an individual person taking power, FDR did a lot too. I think FDR did a lot too. So yeah, I think both did a lot. FDR did a lot. FDR took a lot of control. Woodrow Wilson did too. FDR took even more. I think FDR's legacy right now is far worse than Trump's at this moment right now, and people don't believe it. The reason why FDR's legacy is far worse is people think that FDR is amazing. People think that. So yeah, I think that's the difference. Where at least right now, people who don't like Trump are obviously just going, Trump is bad. Remember, FDR wanted to stack the courts. FDR put Japanese Americans in prison. Literally Americans in prison camps, American citizens in prison camps. I'm not sure that's true, Jim. I'm not sure. Don't get me wrong. Trump is taking a whole lot, no doubt. FDR did too, though. So I'm not sure. I think we'll know in the long run. I'm not sure we can say which one's worse right now. So, yeah. So, all right. Let's see here. I do want to bring up something, by the way. Just so we're clear. Tomorrow's show, Wednesday, is a regular show. Will not just be on Civil only. It's a regular show tomorrow. You'll see it. It will be on there anyway. Regular live stream, all good. Regular live stream, all good. Yeah, all good. All right. Grab some more of these. Rick says, AI is making some great Soviet Star Trek parodies. True. They're amazing. I laugh at them all the time. I do love that. Yes. All right. Mike says, I'm concerned that Congress will create a law to control actions by Obama and Trump to allow ownership of companies. Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah, that's my point. Yes, I am worried. What Trump is doing physically now, as I mentioned earlier, Mike, if it was just this, and if I believe there was nothing further, like this was like Emergency Powers Act because we're at war and that's the thing for now, I wouldn't like it, but I wouldn't be as upset. But I think you are correct. This is the opening that others will use to make shit terrible. That is my biggest worry. Yes. So, all right. Duke of X, thank you for the $5. Nixon saved China's economy by destroying U.S. manufacturing. We're now totally dependent upon China manufacturing for all our needs. They have us by the balls. True. It's accurate. It's accurate. The idea of trickle-down economics, people laugh at and go, doesn't work. It does work, just not for Americans. It does work. It worked for the rest of the world. Didn't work for us. Did work, though. The rich got wealthy, and it trickled down on the most poorest people on the planet, and many of them were raised out of poverty. That's true. They just weren't in America. They were in China and India and Africa. They weren't here. So, yes. So, I guess Nixon was China first? Maybe India first, whatever. Yeah, one of those. So, Sharpe says, with everything else Democrats have done to President Trump, do you really think they hold on to information for 4 years from e-files or anything else leaking out? That's my point. I don't think Trump I actually don't think Trump has any youngin stuff. That's what I'll say. I'm on YouTube. Has no youngin stuff. I think he doesn't have youngin stuff in there. Does he have like ladies of the evening there? I'm sure. I mean, he was open about that. Trump had lots of girlfriends that weren't his wife. I think we're aware of that, right? He's done that. So I don't think he has. Even Bill Maher said it. Bill Maher's like, he was like a real player. That's who Trump was. He was a real player hanging out with it. But everything he did was with consenting adults. I have no problem with that, right? If you're doing stuff with ladies of the evening who are happy to be paid and do services for you, and they're consenting and they're adults, I'm not mad at that. And I think that's where Trump probably is in those. He probably want that to come out. But I don't think he did any little ones. My worry, but what I think he's worried about, what I think he's worried about is, I bet a bunch of the people he knows or works with or deals with, they might have been doing stuff with the youngins. That's what I'm thinking. So yeah, that's what I think. But I think you're right. If there was something like if he was with Youngins, the Democrats would have got that out in a heartbeat. Somebody would have leaked that. Somebody would have leaked that. They hate him so much. There are people who would risk total destruction to get rid of him. Yes, we saw a couple try to. Yes, last year, a couple tried to risk everything to get rid of him. Yes. So I'm with you, Sharpe fan. I agree completely. He goes on, Sharpe fan goes on to say, FDR was worse by far, not only for domestic stuff, but all that he gave to Stalin. Yes, FDR loved Stalin. FDR loved communism. And people hate, it's true. That's why half of the problems we have when it comes to healthcare, because of him. When it comes to insurance, because of him. And World War II ended poorly because of him. East Germany, West Germany, because of him. North Korea, South Korea, because of him. Yes, that's all because FDR was a terrible president. And people think he's great. Terrible president. So, yeah, I can't just immediately go to Trump bad because he says bad things. Trump says the worst stuff. That's true. If it's like rhetoric, like bad, nasty things, Trump's the worst. That's true. But actual grabbing power, he's bad. Obviously, I gave you a list of stuff. I'm not sure if he's worse than FDR, though. I'm not sure. I think time will tell. So, yes. Massive Hour says, the U.S. age shaming? I did. But sadly, since I know how to do that, I just age shamed myself, too. Because I knew what you were talking about. So, I age shamed us. There we go. Yes, I age shamed us. That's what I did. So, yes. All right. Let's hear. Joel says, I feel welcome here. I'm a North Country hillbilly. I love that. I do a North Country. I do. Yes. Okay. Liberty says, Thursday's AMA is going to be a banger since we didn't get one last week. Yes, that's true. Yes. Master Hour says, poor Larry's navigating a minefield chat room. True. Yes, absolutely. All right. You guys go back and forth there. I love that. Andrew says, liberty without virtue becomes license. I'm not sure what that means. Did I miss something? I don't know. Okay. I guess I'll figure that one out. All righty. I'm going to move past all the other thing words. I'm on YouTube. I'm going to get trashed. So, yes. Literally says, Larry's spiciness is rubbing off on us in the chat. I know. I've been good this time. I've been good this time. So, yeah. I have been good. Maybe you guys haven't. So, yes. All right. Let me see if I can go down a couple more of these. You guys, a lot of back and forth. I appreciate that. Yes. All right. I grabbed that one already. I'm trying to grab a bunch of these that are here. Okay. All right. Let me keep grabbing it. All right. There we go. Phil says, I think there were some other reasons for that because American manufacturing has become lazy and overburdened by regulations. I don't think American manufacturing has become lazy. I don't think that's true. I think we have told our young men that going into physical labor jobs is for the dumb kids or the bad kids. I think we've done that for 20 years that we shouldn't have. So, yeah, I think that's true. But if you see the people who are working in manufacturing, while there are less of them, I don't think they're any lazier than anybody else in the world. I mean, they're the same as everybody else as humans who do things that, based upon incentives. You do find in many manufacturing places now, a lot of migrants have come in. So they're no lazier or not lazy than anybody else. I'm not sure that's true. But overburdened by regulations, clearly true. Clearly true. Yes. Patty says, Larry, you in chat. Your chat is the only thing keeping me sane out of jail right now. Thank you. I'm glad we're here. I am very glad you're here. Yes, absolutely. So, yes. All righty. And Joel says, Patty, please stay out of jail. Yes, I agree. Yes. It's like we're going to have to bail Patty out just in case. All right, buddy. Let's start getting some cash. Yes, absolutely. So, Patty says real ramen's healthy. The fake stuff we have is not. It's true. Some of the fake ramen is not great. It's true. It's hard. It is. I talk about it often. In America, we've made the most essential, important things expensive. It's not good. We really should be able to. We should be able to easily get good local food, particularly in New York, Patty. I mean, particularly in New York. You know how many farms we have in New York? Oh my God, farms everywhere. We should be able to, but we're not. So yes, absolutely. Kevin says FDR is historically legendary. Yes, but if you break down his administration legacy, he was a tyrant that caused more financial pain and physical pain. Yes, and physical pain. He is the reason for so much pain from World War II and afterwards, the Cold War because of him, the pain of the Iron Curtain because of him, the massive assault on the German population after the war because of him, the reason why the war lasted as long as it did because of him. I mean, bad. The reason why the Russians invaded Manchuria and North Korea because of him. The dropping of the bombs, even though he wasn't there for it. If it was for him, we wouldn't have needed them. He was the reason why we had to drop the bombs, all because of him. So nothing but bad, right? Nothing. He was responsible for nothing but bad. Yes. So anyway, I can do an entire show just on how bad FDR was. He was a terrible president. So yeah. All right. Let's see here. Are we talking about ramen now? Okay. I lived in Japan for many years. And I've had ramen like in a ramen noodle shop. So good. So good. Yes. So good. So yeah, absolutely. All right. Mike says, lol, I was wondering how I would handle that. I know he knows. I do know. Yes. So I'm going to leave it alone is what I'm going to do. Mike, I'm going to get kicked off of YouTube because you guys want to. Anyway, move on. So yes. Kevin says, Larry, do not respond to these liberals who are just looking for anybody to agree Trump is a pedophile. Oh, I said the P word. Damn it. And they have an incurable source of TDS. Yes, but I respond to all the people. That's the whole point. They're all welcome here. And people do have TDS. It's a thing. I live in New York City. It's a thing. People have it. And we need to talk about it. You can't deal with it if you don't talk about it. You just can't. So, yes. So, all right. Phil says, quality of U.S. cars in the 70s and 80s was lacking. Very true. I remember, it's funny you say that, Phil. Particularly in the 80s. You couldn't get me to buy an American car. Like you could never get me. I didn't own an American car until the 2000s. In fact, I think 2010s. I never owned an American car. I only owned Japanese and Germans. That's all I would own. I would not own an American car because they were terrible. You're right. They were terrible. The quality was garbage. And I hate to say it, but it was true. You're right. But that doesn't mean that the workers were lazy. It means that you know what? I was assuming workers. You might not have been assuming workers. Maybe I assumed workers. Yes. Yeah. So, okay. So if you say the manufacturing, yeah, maybe. Okay. Maybe. So, Matt, thank you for $2. Ramen overrated. Tsukemen is better than ramen. Fight me. I don't want to fight you over that. I think I'll go one step further. Udon. Udon is the best. Done. Checkmate, Matt. Udon is better than both. Udon is delicious. Nice, thick noodles, which I don't eat anymore because it's not keto. So I don't eat noodles anymore. But I used to eat udon when I was in Japan from an actual, like I go to a ramen shop, right? And just go there and get some udon. With usually I try to get pork in it. I liked pork more than beef. I preferred pork. But you know, whatever. So, all right. Let me see here. Do we have? All right. Let me see if I can get this out here. Okay. The poll is complete. You guys asked me to read the poll. Recent law enforcement executive orders and economic policy have made you feel. And the winner is, with 44%, afraid of where America is going. 44%. Ouch. Okay, that's where it leads. That's the number one. Number two at 27% is not sure yet. Number 3 and 4 tied at 13%. Positive on American future, negative on American future. Wow. So basically afraid, and then the rest positive or negative, random, don't know. So we're basically scared. That's what the poll says. We are basically scared. Okay, now we know. Now we know we're basically scared. Okay. All right. Let's see here. Okay. A bunch of these I appreciate. Okay. Rick says, is it ramen carbs? True. It's why I don't eat it anymore. Phil says, Larry's going to have keto beef noodles. Is that a thing? I'm going to see if I can get my daughter to figure out how to make keto noodles. I'm sure there's keto noodles. I'm sure there are. I've asked my daughter to come up with some keto spaghetti. There's keto spaghetti sauce. I know that. We just got to figure that out, right? Yeah. Ed Bid says, we complain about regulations here in the U.S. I would suggest you travel to China. Different opinion. I'm not sure where you're going with that. But what I would say is China is notoriously corrupt. So while they have regulations, you can basically write a check or lie or know someone and get around them. That's common in China. I mean, it's here too, but far more common in China than it is here. And second, the problem is, the thing in China is there are people in China responsible for yes. So stuff will get done because you got to report up that something got done. American regulations is very different. Regulations are very different. Everyone's responsible for no. No one's responsible for yes. So you have to fight through everyone and make sure everyone's ass is covered to get a yes. That's the big difference, right? Americans' regulation is about everyone saying no and having to cover their ass. China is about who do I bribe to get a yes? Because we got to get a yes, because if nothing gets built, I get punished from above. So a little bit different. If that makes any sense. So yes. Matt says, there's kelp noodles. It's like 2 grams of carbs. Oh, that's not bad. 2 grams is not bad. I can deal with that. I'm not a zero carb guy. I try to stay under 40 no matter what, usually under 20 if I can. So yes, that's what I do. Andrew says, what I meant by that statement earlier was freedom, if not guided by moral responsibility and self-control, can turn to reckless behavior that harms both the individual and society. Everybody knows. Yes, agreed. That's what you meant. Yes, 100%. Yeah, I completely agree. You need to have a society where people say, yes, we care about ourselves, we care, and we respect. Look, I say all the time, respect matters. You have to respect each other for sure. And that's a critical aspect. Respecting private property, respecting rights, respecting individuals. Yes, absolutely. 100%. 100%. Yes. So K-John was actually making noodles while we were all talking. So take that, you people who want noodles. She was already making them. You can pay that price. See that? All right, guys, I'm going to ask you, remember, Thursday is the AMA. Tomorrow we start our show. As all, it's a normal show tomorrow, regular show. Guys, if you didn't click the like button, please do so. It does matter. Remember, we also on Spotify. I bring up Spotify often. If you listen on Spotify, give me a 5-star review. Why? Because I deserve it. I don't care if you like me or not. Do it anyway. Share this someplace if you can, particularly off of Spotify. That's hopeful. Remember, after the live, please come back. Come back afterwards and put a comment. And tell me what you think about Trump owning 10%, owning companies. What do you think about Trump and the government owning companies? What do you think about that? Please do that if you would. And if you're watching this and it's not live, you can see 2 videos pop up here. When they pop up, please click on one of them and watch one for at least 8 minutes. Mr. Rhythm, Al Gore, Rhythm, loves it. I will see you all very soon.